Here's a piece of property that I cut all the cedar trees off of this past winter. Most of the trees were smaller and there was a lot of brush with them. I threw them away, but there were some posts in some of them. Posts are left behind. I haven't dealt with them yet, but you can see some of the stumps and some of the trees. Let's walk around and take a look at it. There's a pretty nice post I cut. I think I got a couple more laying around here. And there's a few more yet. Let me just cut across here. And that's a tricky spot. It's a stump. The reason I cut these cedar trees off is because they get so thick, and when they get thick, they kill all the grass and everything that's growing, and they keep other trees from growing. So they're basically considered an invasive species whenever they get too thick. So I wanted to get them cleaned out so that I can get other things to grow in here. And look at that pile of logs. Not logs, but post. Looks like there's about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them there. It's a pretty good little pile. Let's go up the hill. I'll show you the brush pile that's left. Look at that. That is a big one. It's a huge brush pile. We'll go down the hill a little bit here. This is where we were just a minute ago. And I'll show you some of the other things I cleaned up. See this fence row right here? It's kind of hard to see, but it was nothing but cedar trees a couple months ago. You couldn't have even looked in that field there and seen that brush pile because of all the trees. See the stumps, posts, a few more posts. Look at that. Going up there, more posts. Second big brush pile. That is probably, it's kind of hard to tell, but each of these brush piles are probably about 30 feet across in each direction. So they're really massive brush piles. Look at that post right there. That is a nice one. One of the bigger ones I've cut so far. It's going to be probably 15 inches one way and 18 the other. So that's pretty good. Got all these stumps and all these posts. Another big post. A few more laying down there. Another big brush pile. Another post. More yet. Another one. Got some more. Right here, I'm walking toward a brush pile I just started. It's not huge yet, but it's going to be pretty soon. And my project for today is, you can see this little washed out gully there. I'm going to start here and clean up quite a few of these trees. If there are any good, useful trees in here, I'm going to leave them, but if they're kind of scrub trees that don't have any purpose, then I'm going to take them out. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that in a few minutes, and I'll show you the correct way to cut down a tree. And we might even take a few logs off of some of these because there's a few real beauties in here. Okay, but time to get started. Okay, I'm getting a little bit of work done. I thought I'd take a second and show you exactly how I cut a cedar tree down. So I'm going to start by going up to that tree and cutting off all the low limbs. Now it's time to haul away the brush. As you can see, I've drug away all the brush, so now it's time to cut the tree down. I'm going to show you how to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to make a horizontal cut, and then I'm going to come up here and make a vertical cut down on it, and then I'm going to go right up here above my cuts and cut straight across, and eventually this cut down here makes a hinge and the tree will fold over on the hinge, and that works well for trees that are leaning, and they'll fall in the, you cut the notch in the direction you want them to fall. And if the tree's leaning, of course you want to cut that notch in the direction it's leaning so that it falls that way. Let's do it. As you were watching, you could see that as the tree started to fall in the back, the notch got bigger and bigger. The crack did in the back where I was cutting. You always want to watch that, because if the tree would try to fall backwards instead of getting bigger, that notch would get smaller, and that would let you know the tree's trying to fall the wrong way. Pretty nice tree, quite a bit of limbs on it, and the trunk is big enough to make a post. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut all the limbs off, haul them over toward my pile, and then the trunk I'm going to mark it in 8-foot pieces, and I'm going to cut some post out of it, and we'll see how it looks when I get finished. Well, after about 30 minutes I have the tree mostly cleaned up. You can see what it looks like. Got 2 nice posts off of it. Got, just looking around the area, one little bitty old cedar tree that'll be easy to take care of. Here I got a few bigger ones. This is the one right here that's going to be a job. And that is a pretty big tree. I'm looking at probably 2 foot across the bottom of it. The problem with this one is it leans real heavy in the wrong direction. I'd like for it to fall right where I'm standing in this area, but it's leaning over a fence that's behind it. So it's going to be a little bit more tricky. What I'm going to do with this tree is I'm going to get the limbs at the bottom cleaned up, and I'm going to climb up it and put a chain on it, a tow chain, 70 grade tow chain that's rated for over 5,000 pounds, and I'm going to hook it to my tractor and pull it down. But first of all, I will see if I can clean up a few of these other trees. So here's that big tree. I just put a log chain on it, and it is hooked tight to a 175 Alice Chalmers. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can pull it down. That's how it's done. Well, there's my finished log. That's a nice one. I ended up cutting it 8 foot, and you can tell by looking at it, it has a lot of good quality wood in it. I'm looking forward to getting about 3 or 4 more of those, and I'm going to send it off to the sawmill and see if I can get some nice lumber cut out of it. I was going to show you how to cut down a tree with a wedge, but I kind of ran out of time, so that's going to have to wait for another day. So keep watching, and we'll do some more exciting things. Thank you.